Welcome Snoozy friends, to your channel Snooze in 10. Today we would be telling a story of a keeper at a lighthouse and his dream world. Just too brief for our first-time listeners. Our idea of channel is that we try to engage your imagination gently and activate the parasympathetic nervous system. Help you not to overthink when you close your eyes. Last but not the least, provide you emotional comfort. Let's begin today's story. The Lighthouse Keeper's Dream. At the edge of the world, where the sky melted into the sea, and the wind whispered tales from distant lands, stood a solitary lighthouse on a weathered cliff. It rose tall and proud above the roaring waves, its stone walls kissed by countless storms, and warmed by the glow of 1,000 sunsets. The keeper of the lighthouse was an old man named Elliot, who had lived there for many years. His hair had grown as white as the foam on the sea, and his hands were weathered like the rocks below. Elliot had no family, no visitors, and no need for much, only the ocean, the wind, and the light he guarded each night. Each evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, and the stars began their quiet watch, Elliot would climb the spiral staircase to the top of the lighthouse. There, he would light the great lantern that cast its golden beam far across the darkened sea, guiding ships away from hidden rocks and whispering a silent welcome to all who sailed near. He loved the silence of the night. It was a gentle quiet, not empty but full of small, beautiful things, the sound of the tide, the rustle of the wind, the call of a distant seabird. In this silence, Elliot would sit in his chair by the window, sip a cup of warm tea, and stare into the starlit ocean, letting his thoughts drift like ships, with no anchor. But this night was different. The sea was calm, unusually so. The waves rolled in with slow, sleepy sighs. The stars above blinked slowly, lazily, as if they too were beginning to doze. And the light from the lantern didn't feel urgent or sharp. It felt soft, like a lullaby made of gold. Elliot leaned back in his chair, pulling a warm woolen blanket over his knees. The air was cool, but not cold. A faint scent of salt and jasmine drifted in through the open window. As he listened to the quiet creaking of the lighthouse and the gentle hush of the waves, his eyelids began to grow heavy. He blinked once, then again, then no more, and the dream began. Elliot found himself no longer in the lighthouse, but standing barefoot on a beach made entirely of silver sand. The moon hung low and large in the sky, so close it felt like he could reach out and touch it. The sea before him was a mirror, smooth and still, reflecting the stars and the glowing path of the lighthouse's beam. But the lighthouse itself was not on the cliff. It was floating, not anchored to rock, but gently drifting in the sky, tethered to the stars. Its light spun slowly, casting soft beams across the clouds, revealing floating islands of crystal, waterfalls that poured upward, and great winged creatures that soared silently in the moonlit air. A voice, warm and kind, spoke behind him. "Elliot," it said, "you've been awake for so long. It's time to dream a little more deeply." He turned and saw no one. Only the wind forming words in the shape of the mist. But he wasn't afraid. He nodded, as if understanding something, without needing to speak. He stepped into a small boat that waited at the edge of the silver sand. It was carved from driftwood and lit from within by a soft, bluish glow. The boat began to move, slowly gliding over the water without oars, without sound. As Elliot floated forward, the world changed around him. First came the sea of memories. Here, waves carried laughter, music, the echoes of childhood dreams. Each crest of the water played soft songs of lullabies his mother once hummed, of bells ringing in distant harbors, of pages turning in beloved old books. Then came the cloud garden, where he drifted not on water, but through soft, glowing mist. Giant flowers bloomed mid-air, their petals made of light. Each one released a scent: lavender, chamomile, vanilla, calming him further, easing the tiredness in his bones. Farther still, he passed the Valley of Whispers, where tall reeds swayed in a wind that spoke only in sighs and secrets. The reeds bowed as he passed, as if acknowledging his long journey. The boat never stopped, never faltered. Eventually, the boat brought him to the island of dreams, a quiet place at the center of the sea. Here, a forest grew, not of trees, but of tall, luminous spires that sang when touched by wind. Elliot stepped off the boat, his feet touching the softest moss, which glowed faintly with each step. He wandered into the forest. The trees, if you could call them that, were warm to the touch, and pulsed with a gentle rhythm, like a heartbeat. Between them floated glowing orbs, like fireflies the size of apples. Each orb, as Elliot passed, revealed a peaceful scene inside: a child hugging a dog, waves rolling onto a quiet shore, stars being born in the sky. He felt lighter than he ever had, not just in body, but in spirit. The worries of the world, forgotten letters, unanswered questions, lonely nights had melted away, like frost under morning sun. And in the very heart of the forest stood a new lighthouse. This one wasn't made of stone or metal. It was made of light itself, white and gold and silver, ever shifting, like a dream you almost remember. Elliot walked toward it, drawn by a warmth that filled his chest. The door opened for him. Inside, there were no stairs, only a gentle lift of air. It carried him upward, slowly, gently, until he reached the top. There, instead of a lantern, was a soft, glowing bed. Pillows of cloud, sheets of starlight, a blanket woven from the hush of the sea. And waiting beside the bed was a younger version of himself. The younger Elliot smiled. "You've kept the light for so long," he said. "Now let it keep you." Elliot laid down, feeling every part of himself relax. His hands, his shoulders, his heart. The bed embraced him, like the arms of the sky. Outside, the dream lighthouse cast its light not to warn, but to welcome. A signal of safety, of peace, of home. Far across the dream sea, travelers would see the beam and smile, knowing someone was watching over their rest. Elliot's breathing slowed. His body melted into the softness of the dream. The stars blinked slower. The wind became a lullaby. The world outside, the waking world, grew dim and distant. But the dream, the peaceful, golden dream, wrapped around him and whispered, "You are safe. You are home. Let go." And so he did. Good night, sweet dreams.